I want to take a look at budgetary allocation, NASS budgetary allocation, and people are like saying that from what they did, an increment from 197 billion naira to over 300 billion naira, that is not what Nigerians should be looking at right now. Taking a look at prudence, taking a look at things that will cut the cost of governance. How come NASS is doing this? How would you think the country will be able to fund that particular budget? And of course, we came out to like defend it, saying this is the reason why they did what they did, but Nigerians are not satisfied with the explanation. Let's get to see or hear my analysts in the studio. We just do have the same opinion as Godswill Akpabio, or he may give us a reason why it was increased, if they are strangulated, if they're doing the right thing or the wrong thing. But all the same, let's get to hear from a lecturer from Uniben. You're talking about mathematics, right?
Yes.
Yeah, mathematics. Join me to welcome Dr. Owen Olo. Welcome to TMI. I appreciate your comment.
Thank you for having me.
Yes,
so
because when we're having a discussion of camera, you told me some mind-blowing things, but all the same, yes, you have the floor, an increment from 100 plus billion to 300 plus billion. Does it make sense to you?
I would say, the increment is just on the face value. Face value. Most times when things are done, we don't really go inwards to see if these things are really reflecting what we are seeing. Before I delve into I did some little research and all that,
yes,
to analysis to be able to educate our audience. If really what we are seeing is really an increment. Because when you talk about budget in the first place, budget is it's projection.
Yes.
Projection, projected spending, projected revenue, as the case may be. And if Nigeria, we have a three-tier government. We practice a three-tier government system. We have the executive, we have the judiciary, and we have the legislative arm of government. And now, this budget to the National Assembly, there's been this talk that it's an increase and all that. A time where Nigeria is actually going through a lot. We should spend more money. The average Nigerian on the street is hungry. Why should the National Assembly think of increasing their budget when the average man on the street cannot afford food and all that? But I want to say categorically that this government, as it is, has strangulated the National Assembly in terms of the budget allocation to them.
Strangulated how?
Yes.
Because we are seeing increment. You said it's just for face value.
Yes,
but there's an increment close to 200 billion.
Yes.
Naira increment.
I will give you a rundown of what I have been able to gather. We have this budget. Nigeria, give it, whether you like it or not, the dollar runs the economy. Of course, you can attest to it. The recent increase in the prices of commodities, especially imported goods, is actually largely affected by the exchange rate. And so our dollar is actually based on, our budget rather, is based on dollar. Now, this budget has been benchmarked at 800 naira to a dollar. That's the official exchange rate for this budget. Now, if you look at this budget critically, you will observe that this government has budgeted the 28.7 trillion naira that has been budgeted using the exchange rate of 800 naira to a dollar. You will see that this will amount to $35.875 billion. I have been able to look at budgetary allocations from 2011 till date, and I have seen that, the budget, the federal government, the executive arm of government, has consistently, despite the sharp fall of the naira against the dollar, has consistently maintained the budgetary allocation in the sense that the dollar value now. It will shock you to know that in 2023, the budget, though small as 21.8 trillion naira, was actually over $50 billion. $50 billion. That is the highest we have had since 2011.
So you're comparing the naira-dollar exchange rate?
Yeah, because as at that time, that budget for 2023 was based at 435 naira to a dollar. So if you convert the 21.8 trillion naira that was budgeted in 2023, you will discover that that budget was actually over $50 billion. It is the highest since 2011. And I wish to also let you know that the initial 197 billion that was budgeted for the National Assembly.
That is naira right now.
Yes, sorry, okay, naira.
So as you get to know the difference.
Yes, the 197 billion naira that was initially budgeted is believed to be the second highest since 2011. But I want to tell you that that is not true. Because that 197 billion naira, if you use the exchange rate for this budget, which is 800 naira to a dollar, you will discover that what we are talking about is about $246 million. And let me also tell you that that is just 0.6%.
0.6%?
Yes, less than 1% of the total budget. It is the poorest ever allocated to the National Assembly since 2011. Now, I wish to also let you know, because when we talk, like me, I'm not really quick to, I give things the benefit of the doubt. I'm not really quick to judge. But sometimes people don't want to hear you. They only want to hear what they want to hear. 197 billion naira, that's a huge amount in terms of naira. But in the recess of it, the one for last year, 2023, stood at 228 billion naira. So this 2024 is lower. Initially, 197 billion naira is lower. But what is the equivalent of that money in dollars? The equivalent is just $248 million. And again, I want to tell you that that is actually 0.6% of the total budget of $35.875 billion. So let me also tell you this, that in 2011, Jonathan government budgeted $1 billion for the National Assembly. How about
$1 billion?
Yes, $1 billion for the National Assembly. Because the budget of 2011 stood at 4.97 trillion. And then the exchange rate then was 150 naira to a dollar. That budget was 33.13 billion naira. So if you convert to 800 naira per dollar, it's like, no, what I'm saying is that as at that time, of course, you will agree with me that the economy was good, better relative to what we have now. The budget then was small in terms of, you compare the naira, like 4-point-something trillion naira to the 28-point-something trillion that we now have now. It's small, but in terms of the value, that budget was premised on 150 naira to a dollar.
All right. And
then, of course, that's 35. And do you know that the National Assembly got 150 billion naira then, which is the equivalent of $1 billion. And that also is like 3.02% of the total budget.
So you're saying that this time around, from calculation by calculation, due to the naira-dollar exchange, is lesser than what they've been getting since 2011. Is that what you're saying now?
This is the poorest.
The poorest per calculation.
Yes. You see, we must give, what we should be talking about, our emphasis should be on prudent management of scarce resources. These monies have been budgeted. We have agencies that, monitor corrupt practices. It should rather be strengthened to ensure, though the breakdown of the budget for the National Assembly for 2024 has not been released. But if you look at that of 2023, there are several things that these monies are spent for. I think we also have constituency projects and all that as part of it and all that. What we should really be emphasizing is that these various agencies monitoring corruption, corrupt practices, should ensure or should be on the neck of this legislator, these are our national senators and legislators, to ensure that at least what this money has budgeted for is really spent for such purpose.
All right.
I will give you a rundown so that you will see that over the years, the most magnanimous governments to the National Assembly since 2011 is the Jonathan regime. Jonathan government budgeted as of 2011 $1 billion. And again, 3.02% of the total budget of 4.7 trillion naira to the National Assembly. Yes. So if you look at 2012 also, the budget rose to 6.24 trillion naira, and then of course that's like $40 billion. Then the National Assembly also got 150 billion naira. Of course, the exchange rate then became 155 naira to a dollar. And then the budget to the National Assembly dropped in terms of value from $1 billion to $967 million. And again, the percentage too allocated to them dropped. People don't really pay attention to these little details. And then if you look through, the highest I have here is the one for 2014.
But some will be like, you are taking a look at this from one angle, the Naira-dollar exchange. And this administration is telling us to tighten our bets, talking about being prudent. I mean, if you take a look at some of what these things are allocated for, newspapers, wardrobe allowance, you can see the humongous amount of money attached to all this. This increment, from that angle, is it worth it? No, if you know that Nigerians are suffering.
I am not a mouthpiece of the National Assembly.
Of course, because
I am just being a realist.
But right now you're sounding like what?
No, I'm just a realist. I don't have any relative or person that is a National Assembly. I just like, speaking to issues the way they are. Hey, I'm not holding brief for anybody. You will agree with me that people who are saying this, the budget breakdown for the National Assembly for 2024 has not been released yet. And you also agree with me that this 197 billion naira that was allocated initially to the National Assembly, you will agree that this money will chase fewer commodities compared to what 150 billion naira was able to accomplish or chased in 2011.
But some are saying, if you really want to increase the budget allocation for the National Assembly, the workforce could have been crying about salary increment. Nobody is paying attention to them. Why would you give some amount of money to the National Assembly?
I just told you a moment ago that what the federal government, the executive arm that is strangulating the National Assembly, strangulating the judiciary, the other arms of government, budgeted to the National Assembly is just 0.6%, less than 1% of the total budget, as against what Jonathan and Buhari budgeted for the National Assembly. I would like to give you a rundown of the little analysis that I have made. In 2011, the National Assembly got 3.02% of the total budget for that year, total budget of 4.97 trillion naira. In 2012, the National Assembly got 2.4% of the total budget. In 2013, the thing rose to 3.0% of the total budget, 3 points. Then in 2014, it rose to 3.26% of the total budget. In 2015, it came down to 2.57%. In 2016, it came down to 2.06%. So, and people don't really pay attention to all these things. And whereas if you come to look at it, when you see the face value, in Naira equivalent, you like, oh wow, these people are getting so much and all that. But I must tell you that over the years, it has actually been dwindling. In 2017, they got 1.68%.
1.68%.
Yes.
But don't forget that these things given to them, Nigerians were crying about it. They cried about the salaries of National Assembly members.
Okay.
They cried about the municipal allowance of National Assembly members. They cried also about the allowance. They cried also because of the high costs allocated to these persons.
Yeah.
And we are now saying that the cost of governance is too much. Why would you increase it now?
Well,
when the economy is suffering, when the people are suffering, when the masses are crying, is it a wise thing to do?
Well, like I said earlier,
Yes.
everybody, we have people that speak on behalf of Nigerian workers. Nigeria Labour Congress, we have TUC, and a host of other affiliates of these two major unions. These two major unions should concentrate on how the welfare of workers, Nigerian workers, can be improved. I don't want to speculate that they have been compromised. In the real sense, if the trade unions are really serious with what they are doing, they picket the National Assembly, we should put pressure on them to approve better wage package, better living condition for Nigerian workers. Because these days, I was telling somebody I say it everywhere. Yeah. It's not telling somebody. I tell people who care to listen. I started working in the University of Benin late 2007 after graduating top of my class. And after youth service, I came back. My salary was 65,000 naira as at 2007. Yes. I was a graduate assistant. That's the very first rung of the ladder. With your first degree, that is the highest you can get in the university. So I started work, 65,000 naira. Then the exchange rate, the naira was exchanging for the dollar, I think about 100 and something naira.
Naira, yes.
I can tell you I was earning over $500 in 2007. Let's not deceive ourselves though. This economy is dollar-driven. You will agree with me, it's dollar-driven. So I was earning over $500 in 2007. And let me tell you, the things I was able to do with 65,000 naira in 2007, that by the grace of God, I'm a senior lecturer in the Department of Mathematics. And my salary is just slightly above 200,000 naira. Now let us extrapolate. Let's not deceive ourselves. The black market rates for naira to the dollar is 1,000. It's over 1,300. Right?
It's true.
But let me just be magnanimous. Let me just come down to okay. Let's use 1,000 naira as the exchange rate. You know, I am earning about $233. After,
that means it's less than now.
It's less. After
because of the dollar naira exchange rate.
The economy is dollar driven. So that is why we must try to attract more foreign investment. You see, people are asking plenty questions. Nigerians don't even care. That's why I'm sometimes, I told you I really don't like getting emotional about these things. Because I want to have my sanity. You see, people have been raising, different suggestions. Like recently, the deposed emir of Kano, yes, Sanusi, that was former governor of Central Bank. There's this video that is trending, where he's been saying, the dollar that NNPC earns, where does it go to? The video is currently trending. That should be our emphasis. That the Ministry of Finance does not even know how much crude oil Nigeria sell. They don't even know. So we should emphasize.
And those crude oils are being sold in dollars.
Of course, the barrel of crude oil now, I don't really know how much. I know it's slightly less than $100 to a barrel of crude oil.
$74 right now.
It's less than. So these things are sold in dollars. The dollar that comes in, where does the dollar go to? Sanusi has raised the question recently. In a trending video, those are the things Nigerians should really emphasize on. You can just imagine, after putting in about 16 years of my life, my active years, I would say, into the civil service, I am earning less than what I was earning when I started working in 2007. I was earning over $500 then. Now, I am earning less than $250. What is 200? I'm even exaggerating. I'm earning less than $200. Let's tell ourselves the truth. Because the exchange rate is actually 1,300 naira, the parallel market. So this economy is dollar driven. I'm not trying to lose focus of the discourse.
Yes.
But when we talk about the National Assembly, there are about 469 of them, senators, House of Rep members. This person comes from, in fact, Nigeria as an entity is represented in the National Assembly. We have reps from representing 2 or 1, sometimes 1, depending on how large, or sometimes 2 or 3 local governments represented in the House of Representatives. We have senators representing each state is producing, I think, 3 senators, if I'm not mistaken. And then we have one from Abuja.
We're complaining about bringing down the cost of governance.
Yes, the cost of governance. You see, recently, I must commend the president, in as much as he was not the favorite candidate of many of us. I didn't support him in 2023. But these recent fights, we must tackle corruption. The subsidy is gone, so we want to believe that more money will be plowed into the economy. Then, now this recent better edu gates. And then we just pray that he extends it to other ministries and other aids of government.
All right. Now.
Yeah, if he does that, and then he has also reduced the obstacle on traveling and all that. That is also a way of cutting down governance. Now, for me, what the senators and House of Rep members earn is not in public domain. I would say it's shrouded in so much secrecy. Some people speculate that they earn over 40 million naira monthly for the senators and all that. The National Income and Wages Commission has not been able to furnish. Their salary is not public domain. Furnish the public about what the senators earn. But if a senator was earning 40 million naira, I'm not saying that's what they earn, 40 million naira as at let's say 2015 when Buhari became president of this country, and then the senator is still earning 40 million naira now, and you are saying that that money should be thrown down, then I think you are not fair.
You're talking about senators.
Yes.
You're talking about House of Reps. What about the workers?
That's what I'm telling you now. What I'm saying.
Because from a calculation, that means many, let's say, members of the workforce in Nigeria that are receiving less than $100.
Yes, we have.
Per month.
Yes, we have.
So
we have trade unions that are supposed to fight the cause of the Nigerian workers. They are sleeping on their duty, if you ask me. They are sleeping on their duty.
So you're saying that the issue is not with the National Assembly?
No, if the bodies
talking about running the economy, is it not connected to the policies churned out by the National Assembly?
Okay.
Because policies, government policies, before they pass a law, a bill into law, it must pass through the House.
Yes.
So why are they considering themselves while considering the masses?
When you say considering themselves in terms of increasing the budget allocation.
Yes,
they did. I believe that budgets, bills rather, bills are sponsored. And sometimes most of these bills that you see that the senators, House of Rep members, they present on the floor of the National Assembly may not really originate from them. People are the ones who will possibly bring up this bill, discuss with their leader representing them there, and then the person will go to the floor to sponsor the bill. Some of us, colleagues, draft some bill, they look at it, and then we have representatives in the National Assembly and Senate in Edo State here. We can also sponsor workers-driven bill that will, improve the welfare of the Nigerian workers.
All right.
What is our labor leaders? What are they doing? They are talking. They are crying. They are shutting out bills, shutting out policies here and there and all that. I agree with you. I think we have a problem here, sir. To be very honest with you, we are just crying foul for no reason.
In this particular issue?
Yes, we are crying foul. Let me tell you why I say we are crying foul. Yes. We have labor leaders. The other day, I don't want to say this on air, but at least let me just give a hint. The other day when the NLC president, Ajero, went to picket Imo State government house, in the heave, I'll put it that way, of the governorship election in that state, and he was manhandled, and then there was this strike for some few days to bring those who perpetrated that to justice. Some weeks after that episode, we saw that this our labor oga was abroad frolicking with the people who got him beaten up in the it's off camera. What I'm saying is that until we get serious,
okay.
Until we get serious, see, let me tell you, every man with his own kettle. Yes, Every malam with his own kettle.
So you're saying that now the labor leaders should wake up and fight for the cause of the workforce?
The Nigerian workers are, if not the poorest paid in the world. If I use myself here as a case study, you will cry.
All right.
So
you know
we have our union. I have a union that represents us. You are aware, as you academic staff union of Nigerian universities, how far we have fought relentlessly.
So you're not saying that Akpabio is fighting for their own cause?
Yeah, as I'm talking to you now, in as much as they have to fight for the people they are representing, they also have to fight for more monies to do constituency projects. Because that constituency project and other things, will affect the common man in their constituencies. What I think we should be crying for now is, let those anti-corruption agencies monitor these monies and ensure that these monies are really spent for what they are budgeted for. Just recently, I'm sure you saw the Kogi woman.
Yes.
The Kogi woman, Natasha Akposha Odwaga. What she did, I saw the video trending. What she did in less than 100 days in a constituency. There's a video I'm even trying to lay my hands on now. But a senator who was, I think it's from Abia State, if I'm not mistaken.
They're all working.
Yeah, they've been able to give, as in, you saw what, I saw canoes, grinding machine, and all that, trying to empower people in their constituency.
You know,
and there was one that also came up recently in Edo State too. I'm sure you saw that palliative issue.
Yes.
The man from Edo North. I think the Denko.
Denko rather. Anyway, you know.
And then they've come out to say, no,
time,
not that.
Yes, our time is up. Our time is up. Not to worry. I'm going to invite you again. This time around, I'm going to bring someone from the labor force to really talk about this issue. You were saying that the Akpabio is for the cause. If you talk about the Naira dollar exchange,
they are just the
Nigerian workers.
That's why the there's a national minimum wage commission. Also, there's a minimum wage committee that has been set up to review the salaries of workers. I hope they'll be able to get something tangible this time for Nigerian workers.
So you're saying every malam
with his own kettle. The Nigerian National Assembly, they are fighting for themselves and for the constituencies that are representing to bring dividends of democracy to their constituents.
We will continue the discussion. Perhaps this Sunday, you never can tell, or any other days, okay? Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Dr. Owen. Yes, I really appreciate the wonderful analysis. You came from another angle, but this time around from Akpabio's angle, the dollar-naira exchange. But the big question now is, what about the common man on the street?